Nebraska, Senator Fisher, and to the presiding officer, I really want to thank you for all the leadership you provided in this crucial time. What I'd like to do to start with is read a letter that was sent by Admiral Cooper to all those participating in Epic Fury. And as a commander, he wanted to let everybody know in these operations sort of what's at stake. And if I can, I'll read it. To America's extraordinary sons and daughters deployed around the Mideast. By order of the President of the United States, we're embarking on a mission of profound consequence. The time for preparation is over. The time for action has arrived. As we move from deterrence into active combat, I write to tell you that I'm honored, and I am here to serve you all. The most exceptional soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, guardians, and Coast Guardmen on earth. Some of you are stationed in the Mideast. Many of you have been deployed overseas on short notice. Others have been extended on deployment for this crucial mission. You represent the strongest, most lethal warfighting force the world has ever known. You will selflessly serve our country and make us very proud. Since 1979, the Iranian regime has killed and wounded thousands of Americans and continue to threaten America and our friends. Today, by your courage and grit, you will change the course of history. My guidance for you is simple. Be relentlessly lethal. In the heat of conflict, remember who you are. Let your conduct be professional as your aim is precise. Take care of your teammates, the men and women on your flanks, in front of you, and those at your side. Your guardian angels, be there. Steady your resolve. Combat is inherently chaotic. The hours, days, and perhaps weeks ahead will challenge you. There will be noise and confusion. Fall back on your training. It is the best in the world. You're the shield of the free world. And today, you're a sharpest sword. As the eye of the world fixes upon you, stay safe and Godspeed. Mr. President, I'd like to introduce this into the record.
Objection.
That letter was sent to everybody involved in Epic Fury. 6 people received this letter that have been killed in action. This letter is a statement by the commander that what you're doing is righteous, what you're doing is long overdue, what you're doing will make your country safer, and the eyes of the world are upon you. I would like to say this. I've never been more proud of our men and women in the military than I am now. And that's true every day, but particularly now. They have been tested by the sting of battle. 6 have fallen, and God bless them. The best thing you can do for a military unit when they suffer losses is to make sure the struggle continues and the sacrifice is not in vain. That's what they want. They accept the risk of injury and death. They cannot accept and should not have to accept anything less than victory. So, a couple of days into this conflict, 3 or 4, we've lost 6 and more may follow. To the families of the fallen, your loved ones died nobly in the service of their country. The enemy that we're facing, Iran, is the largest state sponsor of terrorism on the planet. They have been killing Americans by the thousands since 1979. 1983, 220 Marines, I think 18 sailors, 3 members of the Army, were killed in Lebanon by Hezbollah, a proxy of the Iranian regime, in a bombing against the Marine barracks. We withdrew. We never held those responsible accountable. I love Ronald Reagan. He was a great president, but that was his biggest mistake. So we're here to settle the account with the Iranian regime after months of trying to negotiate an outcome to avoid conflict that would prevent Iran forever having a nuclear weapon, would lessen their ability to produce missiles that could hit our homeland and terrorize the region, to stop their funding of terrorist organizations like Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis. It was clear during those negotiations that Iran is wedded to its agenda. The Ayatollah is a religious Nazi. He's no more likely to give up his agenda than Hitler was. What does he want? Listen to what he says, not what I am saying. He says death to America, and he means it. Well, he can't say it anymore because he's dead. But there are others in Iran who keep saying it. He wants to purify Islam, the regime does. There are radical religious fanatics that believe there's only one way to worship God, and that's through the Shia way. That Sunnis in Saudi Arabia are the worst offenders in their eyes. So they have a goal to purify the faith of Islam, to create an international caliphate built around an extreme ideology. That extreme ideology will allow a 16-year-old girl to be taken off a bus, beaten to death because she didn't wear a headscarf right. That happened. There are cameras all over Iran, particularly Tehran, making sure that as the car goes by, that the woman is covered. These people are fanatics. They throw gay people off buildings. They will not tolerate any other form of religion. They killed 32,000 people in the last couple of months who've had it with the Ayatollah. People are tired of living the way they have to live, Mr. President. They're tired of having daughters killed for just not wearing the headscarf right. They're tired of an economy that's broken and a regime that just wants to destroy the region and is built around a cult of death. People ask me what happens next. There's zero chance that the Ayatollah and his henchmen would ever be our friends. There's zero chance they would give up their religious fanatical ways. We tried for months to no avail. Those that follow, I think it will be better for us. Why not say that? If you look at the protesters and consider them no different than the Ayatollah, then that's an affront to them. They're out in the streets risking their life, not to have more oppression, but have less. Do you really think these people who've taken to the streets want to continue this regime as we know it? Isn't that an offense to them? But when the regime falls, and it's not if, it's when, the people of Iran will have a new chance, I hope, to start anew. I don't know what will happen, but I know it will be their decision. It's not our decision. America's not going to go in and run Iran. We're going to try to take down a terrorist regime that is bent on our destruction. They've been building missiles 100 a month. The goal is to hit us. They've been supporting Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis since 1979 to kill Americans. The IEDs used in Iraq and Afghanistan coming out of Iran aimed to kill thousands of American servicemen. And they were made by the Iranians, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard and Quds Force. This regime is a cult of death. October the 7th was designed to stop Israel and Saudi Arabia making peace, the biggest change in 1,000 years. I worked with President Biden and his team to build on the Abraham Accords to have Saudi Arabia recognize Israel, which would end the Arab-Israeli conflict. We were close, but October the 7th attack that killed 1,200 innocent Israelis, slaughtered people, raped women, cut children's heads off in front of their parents, was designed to stop that process. And since October the 7th, Israel has been in a state of constant war and conflict. Hamas is just about done. And President Trump, after trying through diplomacy, made a decision to call the question on Iran. I talked to him a lot. Midnight Hammer was a very successful military operation to degrade and obliterate the nuclear ambitions of the Iranian regime, and it worked. But it wasn't very long after, Mr. President, they were right back at trying to restart it. I think President Trump came to conclude that there's nothing he can do, there's no deal to be had with the religious Nazis. And thank God he concluded that. Can you imagine a year from now if we'd left this regime intact? 100 missiles a month, more capability. The money from the JCPOA agreement with Obama and Biden was used to fuel their war machine, not roads, bridges, and hospitals. These people the regime could care less about the people. They have a religious agenda to dominate the world. Hitler wanted a master race, Mr. President, believing the Aryan race was superior to everybody else, and he literally wrote a book about killing all the Jews. Nobody believed him. They should have. This regime, since 1979, has openly embraced a cult of death, and they've acted on that cult of death. President Trump, after a sincere effort to bring this conflict to a peaceful conclusion, concluded that to continue to allow this regime to move forward would put America at unacceptable risk, and he was right. So here's where we find ourselves. Operation Epic Fury is off to a great start. The Ayatollah and his inner circle are dead. They're dead because they chose not to negotiate. There's no deal to be had with Hitler in World War II, and there's no deal to be had with the religious Nazis. Everybody in Iran is not a religious Nazi, quite the opposite. Most people in Iran are dying for a better life, and some have literally died to have a better life. So this operation is ahead of schedule. Its goal is to make sure this regime, now and in the future, cannot produce missiles to hit America, continue to hold the region hostage, that this regime will no longer be the largest state sponsor of terrorism, being able to keep Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis up and running. So that's the goal, is to take their capability off the table. And the ultimate capability they want is a nuclear weapon. And my goal is to have people in charge of Iran who don't want a nuclear weapon to blow the world up, who don't want a bunch of missiles to terrorize America, who want to live in peace. When this regime collapses, Prime Minister of Israel said a gateway to peace will be open. I talked with him this morning. So the big payoff for taking this regime down now before they get more lethal, and about imminent threats. Do you really want an imminent threat before we act? If somebody's threatening your family, to kill your family, to burn your house down, do you want to wait till they get to the gas station and the gun store? Since 1979, they've told us who they are and what they believe, and it's now time to deal with who they are, what they believe, and what they've done. So this operation will continue. Every day, Iran grows weaker, and we grow stronger. The ability to generate missile attacks is going down, not up. There will be pain before this is over. Likelihood of more casualties is real. But the reason our men and women are over there is to protect us over here. When you take the eye off the ball in the Mideast, they'll come here. 9/11. You had 19 people trained in Saudi Arabia, of all places, that were able to generate 9/11. When you ignore what happened in Afghanistan, you did so at your peril. The Taliban gave al-Qaeda a safe haven in Afghanistan, and from there they trained and they attacked us on 9/11. I made a promise to myself, I'll do everything I can to never let that happen again. So if you want to stop radical Islam from blowing you up over here, you need to fight them over there. And you need to have partners if you can. There's no better partner on the planet than Israel. They hit above their weight. They do everything we ask them and then some, and they ask very little in return. I do believe the Arab nations in the region who have been viciously attacked by the Ayatollah's regime, that they're soon going to get in the fight. At least I hope they will. And you'll have a coalition of regional countries, the United States, with some support from Europe, sinking the ship, the largest state sponsor of terrorism. The mothership of terrorism is Iran. That ship is sinking and the captain is dead. It's just a matter of time, Mr. President. Israel is committed. President Trump is committed. This is a righteous cause that makes us safer here at home. And the big benefit from bringing this regime down, ending this reign of terror, is that we can get back to the peace table, that we can renew our effort to try to bring peace to the region in a historic fashion. If the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, under Crown Prince MBS, would go back to the table to try to find a peace deal with Israel, it would be the biggest change in 1,000 years. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is the keeper of the two holy mosques, Mecca and Medina, the most holy of the holies in Islam. For that country to move forward, consistent with conservative Islamic principles, but embracing the world and recognizing the Jewish state as a legitimate member of the region, would be breathtaking. And I think it will happen the day this regime in Iran falls, that they can never be another October 7th undercutting peace. So to my Democratic colleagues, this operation is working, is ahead of schedule, and you should all pray that it's successful. President Trump, for months, tried to negotiate with no results, not for lack of effort. I've known this for a long time, Mr. President. The Ayatollah is not a man you can deal with. The Ayatollah is a man you need to make sure can't kill you and your family. He is Hitler on the religious side. What he wants for the world is a master religion. Well, his dreams are going to be denied, and the Iranian people are going to have a chance to start over. And if they want to start over being a friend to America, we'll be their friend. If they want to continue to threaten us, we'll continue to push back. So why I'm here on the floor? There's an effort by my good friend from Virginia, Senator Kaine, to terminate the operation. The War Powers Act was passed years ago by the Congress, saying that after 60 days, any military operation not approved by the Congress must come to an end. That's just blatantly unconstitutional. That creates 535 commander-in-chiefs. The Constitution designates the president as the commander-in-chief, not for 60 days, but forever how long it takes to be commander-in-chief. The Congress can stop military action by cutting off funding. If you don't like the war in Iran, say, well, not pay for it. We have the constitutional power of the purse. We can't become the commander-in-chief after 60 days. You'll ruin the country. Can you imagine Congress being the commander-in-chief? Mr. President, can you imagine the debate we would have of what ships to send and what troops to send? It'd be a nightmare. And the Founding Fathers understood that. They designated a single entity in the Constitution, the president, as commander-in-chief. They gave power to Congress to declare war. Now, does it mean that you can't have military conflict unless Congress declares war? No. We've declared war 5 times in the history of the country. World War II, World War I, the Spanish-American War, the Mexican-American War, the War of 1812. 5 conflicts where Congress said we're in a state of war. We've had over 130 conflicts since the War Powers Act where Congress never authorized anything. The norm in this country is not to declare war by Congress, but for the military to be used by the commander-in-chief. Sometimes authorization from the Congress is requested, sometimes it's not. More than not, it's not requested. The President, as Commander-in-Chief, has the ability to use our armed forces to protect our nation. And Congress, if we disagree with that choice, has the ability to terminate the action by taking the money away. And that's the check and balance that was created a long time ago. The Founding Fathers never envisioned that after a passage of 60 days, the president would be replaced by 535 people. So the War Powers Act, back during the Vietnam era, was an unconstitutional, in my view, infringement on Article 2 power. I said that for Obama, I said that for Biden. When President Biden thought about going into Syria after the chemical weapons attack, I, along with Senator McCain, said, do it. You don't need congressional authorization. You have all the power you need. Clinton went into Haiti. I mean, there's just a lot of examples of Democrat and Republicans using military force. President Bush 41 went into Panama to take down a drug kingpin. The norm is not declaration of war. The norm is for the president, the commander-in-chief, to use military force as they believe appropriate, and the role of the Congress is to check and balance that decision by cutting off funding if he chooses to. We're going to have a vote at 4 o'clock. The reason I want my colleagues to reject the War Powers Act is that you'll set in motion a system where 535 people, after 60 days, become the commander-in-chief, grinding this nation's ability to defend itself to a halt. If you want to stop this war, say we will not pay for it. I would not agree with you, but at least it would be constitutional. So I'll end where I began. The letter written by Admiral Cooper to those serving in harm's way reminded them of the history the Iranian regime has toward us, the American people, our men and women in uniform. And since 1979, they have been killing Americans. They have been killing their own people. They have been slaughtering people in the name of religion. It is time for that to end. It is time for